Dermaphoria, for me watching the film, it's like watching, it's a love story as well as a mystery. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, I think the romance of it was really important to hook you into that. To tell that kind of story without you caring about their love story is, you'd have never followed it through. So yeah, that was very important to me, and that's why, Joe was so important. I thought he was, fantastic, and girls love him. So he's, that's always a bonus.
It's a complex story as well. So for you, writing it and directing it, how did you shoot that? Did you do it chronologically? Well, you couldn't.
No, we talked about that. We talked about, should we shoot chronologically. That became completely impractical. I mean, film sets being what they are, locations. So the wardrobe and production design created a Bible that was really complicated just to track Joseph, because we wanted him to look different during the past and the present. Ideally, it would have been something where it was written so that he had longer hair in the past and then he'd had his head shaved in the present, and we just couldn't do that. And we didn't want to compromise with kind of wigs and stuff like that, which, wigs generally look really bad in movies, I think.
They do, yeah, they do.
I don't want people to come out of my movie and talk about the wigs. I want them to talk about, the acting or the visuals or the story.
With regards to the visuals, actually, there's this. It is visually stunning. I mean, there's this kind of hallucinogenic feel, and it's almost timeless as well. Can you tell us a little more about how you created that aesthetic?
Yeah, I mean, it's based on a novel, which one of the sort of weirdest things about the novel, and I talked to the writer Craig Clevenger about this, is when is this book set? And he said, well, it's kind of unspecific, and I wanted to sort of take that up and follow it. And I think it's a noir, sort of romantic noir, and I think the noir genre is difficult in the age of the mobile phone. It's difficult in the sort of, you don't really want to look at computer screens and iPhone screens. I mean, people have done it, and it's, started to happen more and more. But we kind of like this idea of a payphone-driven world, a timeless world. New Orleans is kind of timeless because actually all those payphones exist. For instance, I mean, I was asked that the other day. Literally, someone said, "Well, did you have to put those payphones up everywhere?" We're like, "No. In New Orleans, payphones exist and people use them." It's that's not the only reason, but I did like this idea that it was completely timeless, non-specific. Could be tomorrow, could be yesterday. A bit like his memory.
You're from the UK. You're going over to shoot in the US. What was that like? Was that a daunting prospect?
Not so much, because I shot my first film, which is a doc called Skid Row, in LA. So I lived and breathed LA and lived downtown LA. Did that with Praz from the Fugees, and so that was a daunting prospect. But after that, it was kind of like, it wasn't a walk in the park, but I've spent probably half of the last 6 years in the US, so I feel almost at home there. But I do think there's something about, my DP is Uruguayan, and I'm English, obviously, and I think there was something about the pair of us looking at America. One of my favourite films about America is Paris, Texas, which is Wim Wenders, and I just think that sort of, there's a lot of movies, if you think about that, where you get an emigre looking at another country and they see it through different eyes. So yeah, that was some of the reasoning behind it.
And we're seeing you back on home turf. You've opened up the East End Film Festival. So what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, I showed my first doc here. They were kind enough to invite us to be the opening film. It's a home opening. I had a lot of friends and family there, which was fantastic, and yeah, it was a great night. And I want to make my next thing here. I want to do something in the East End. So we've got a TV project that we're working on that is all set in this area, and that's what I'd love to do next.